Hi guys, I'm the Stand-Up and this is the Geek in Review, so let's get to it. So after a week you should all be caught up with now with Discovery Season 3 finale, but here's my review anyway. And after a mixed bag of a season, the finale's landed, and yeah, it was okay, it wasn't great, it wasn't bad, I just think it was kinda fine. But for some people that's a lot of the issue. Like all episodes this season, the visuals were absolutely amazing, but like a lot of people, I found it hard to give a good or strong take on this episode, as again it wasn't bad, and we didn't get any new information or any huge reveals or a cliffhanger or a setup for the next season like a lot of us were hoping for, so it did fall a little flat. And after last week's Osyraa-based chaos, this episode just kind of ties things together. I mean, I know we're getting a season 4, but if this was to be the very last episode of Star Trek Discovery, I've got to be honest, I would have been happy about that. Everyone was in a pretty good position, the galaxy's going well, and we're just going to have to wait and see. I think there will be a time jump in season 4, but that's for another video. And after 13 weeks of waiting, we do finally get some bigger space battles. We get the Navarre show up, and they don't do much. We get to see some of the 31st century Starfleet ships in action, but we're still waiting on those interior shots. Again, probably going to happen in season 4. And despite not having a cliffhanger ending, it did tick all the boxes, or at least most of them, when it comes to answering the questions that were set up in this season. A lot of this episode did, to me, feel like padding and that it wasn't going to stop, and I'm not just talking about that turbo lift fight scene. The idea of transferring the sphere data into the dots was great, but they need to do more. After last week's ending, I expected them to be zipping up and down corridors, shooting people, or going around the outside of the ship to get in another part of it to avoid the bad guys, to do a bit of a Die Hard, but we didn't see that. And after some masterful character building with Osyraa last week, she's reverted back to the standard bad guy mode. Instead of just venting air from the ship all at once, she decides to turn the life support off to slowly kill the crew because they need a ticking clock. What TV show or movie or sci-fi show doesn't have a ticking clock? Even Galaxy Quest had it, and they got it right, it went down to the final seconds. But anyway, forget about it. But for me, this was just such a huge step back for Osyraa. I didn't recognise the character this week at all, and after the careful language and banter and phrasing and chess play that she had with Vance and the hologram last week, it's all totally gone. And do you know what else is gone with her? The Emerald Chain. Because after they set up that they were this big organisation that was willing to change and things were going to happen and they were going to work with the Federation, they're just back to bad guys with guns who are decapitated as soon as their leader gets killed, which is a bit of a waste. They might bring them back, or at very least they might bring back some aspect of the Emerald Chain next season. But one thing they do need to change if they're bringing these guys back is the makeup, because man oh man, those Orions just looked a little bit like a child drawing of Shrek to me. Everyone that we've seen, it was just the nose and the chin, and it doesn't really do the actors justice that are under that makeup either. So guys, if you're listening, Discovery team, please get on that. I know you're not shy with the makeup budget. Look what you've done to Adira and Grey this week, so just a little bit of correction on the Orions, and I think everyone would appreciate that. You listen to us with the Klingons in season 1, just take it on board guys, that's all I'm saying. Also, things that we thought were going to be about forever that might not are Stamets. Now that Book can control the Spore Drive, I can't see Stamets being around too much longer, especially after what he said to Michael in episode 12 last week before she launched him out the ship. Plus the fact that the new captain's boyfriend is on board and can do everything that he can do. What use is he? So I think we will be seeing less of Stamets in season 4. And, oh yeah, Michael's the captain. Again, I know you've seen the episode, but I just thought I'd mention it. I did say in a previous video that I thought she would get the big chair before the end of the season, and it looks as if it was right. This is really going to make a few things interesting as well going into season 4. Mainly, what's going to happen with Stamets and Saru, but who's she going to argue with to prove that she's right now she's in charge? I'm just kidding, don't worry about that. I do actually like Michael, despite what it may come across. I just think one of the main issues with Star Trek Discovery is telling the entire story from one character's point of view. So I hope they drop that in the next season as well, and we get to enjoy Captain Burnham just captaining, not being in every scene. Give Sonequa Martin Green a couple of episodes off. That's what they've done in the later seasons of Next Generation, and it worked for the actors, it worked for the story, and more importantly, it worked for the characters. But the reason that this review is so late is it did occur to me that the way that we view media now has totally changed in the last decade. We're used to binge watching contents back to back, and a weekly show does have a different feel or flow to it, and it can certainly feel disjointed if you're not getting that bang 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 that we all enjoy. So I went back and I watched this season from the start, and while it lacks a lot of the pace and excitement of season 2, season 3 overall is maybe tonally the best show. Season 3 overall is maybe tonally the best Discovery season that we've had yet. It's the first time the show's had a consistent showrunner throughout the season that shows. While not delivering at the pace most of us would have wanted, I'm generally happy with this episode. It's just, it didn't give us anything, it just tied everything together, put it in a little box, put it in the corner and went, that's fine, don't worry about it, and hey, that's great. Given the current state of the world, I'm not sure I could sit on a cliffhanger ending not knowing when I'm going to get my next fix. But that's going to be the case for a lot of shows, and we are going to see a lot of changes going forward with how we view movies and TV shows especially. There is actually a rumour that season 4 and 5 of Discovery are getting filmed back to back. I have checked online and I can't see anywhere that substantially has a source for this, so I'm a bit doubtful on it, but if you are in the middle of a quarantine or lockdown, it does make sense to try and create as much content while you can, while you've got all the crew, all the cast, everyone in the one space, so we don't need to go through, or they don't need to go through this again, whatever it is, 8 months or a year down the line. But again, that's just a rumour. I'll keep my eyes open and I'll let you know. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that I post a lot of Star Trek news, and if you don't, hey, follow me on Twitter. I'm at The Geeks Reviews, all the one word. But again, this is just my views, let me know what you think. But one thing the show has been suffering throughout this season and the rest of them is the writing. If you look at some episodes of this season of Discovery, there are 2, 3, I think maybe even 4 writers per episode, and you can tell it really just doesn't work. There's too many cooks here and they are spoiling the broth. And now I know a lot of people love this character and I've got nothing against them, I just don't think the character of Grey brought anything to the season. Once he was introduced, that was fine, but I don't really get the point of bringing him back again and again. He didn't provide any new information, and despite the fact that I was going to hate Adira, I actually love this character, and I feel that Adira needs more story than a quest to bring back the dead X. But hey, Disco loves bringing back people from the dead. With Captain Georgiou, Empress Georgiou, Tyler, and even Lorca got a mention this season, so I don't see Grey going anywhere, and especially with that trick with the holodeck, we don't know how 31st century holodecks work, so he could be coming back in a more permanent physical form. As long as they do something with the character that's a little bit more than the love loss, I'm on board with that, but at the moment I just don't see it happening, it's not for me. But as always, these are just my thoughts and feelings. Let me know what you think in the comments below or on Twitter. I don't have too much to say about this episode, but I do have some thoughts on the season and what's coming next. What did you think of the finale? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or did you think it was just, yeah, it's good? As always, I'm the Standard, this is the Geek In Review, you've been fantastic. Please leave a like and a subscribe and have a great weekend.